I'm with Darren Baldwin. We're at the Spurs Stadium, absolutely fantastic. First match was April the 3rd, was that correct?
It was, yeah, Crystal Palace.
You must have come into work with a skip in your step that day.
Nervous.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've been asked actually, throughout all of it was, describe your emotions. Not just opening day, but probably the whole project. And I said, if you give me an emotion, I've had it. From being excited to waking up, can't sleep, stress, worrying. But I say, any emotion, I've had all of them. But to go to your point of match day number one, Crystal Palace, the fireworks, the opening ceremony, notwithstanding the hailstorm that we had an hour before kickoff and the whole pitch was white.
No.
And I'm thinking 3rd of April, lads, we're going to need blowers and snow brushes, get them out. Didn't even, where are they was to the point. We're in April and it was a case of where are the snow brushes? We may need them. So, it was an unbelievable evening. And always a challenge in terms of how the pitch plays for the first time. So.
And have you had issues? Is there anything you thought, God, I wish we'd thought about that beforehand, now that you're operational and working? Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but is there anything you feel, well, I wish I'd done that slightly different?
No, not really. I guess the playing surface itself, when we played on it in those early games, wasn't really where we want it to be. And I suppose if I was critical of myself, saying, well, how come? You've had 3 years to get this pitch right, and I would accept that. But there was some minor issues that only transpire when you play on it. And if I'm honest, in that respect, it was, as I said previously, it was a steep learning curve. So you look at what we need to do differently and better, and we've solved that. We've worked with our partners, and we've now got the end results, which is a pitch that we can be proud of.
Now, the other thing is going to be starting in a couple of weeks' time is the first NFL game here. Now, there are dramatic changes that are going to happen to the stadium each time you have an NFL game. That's going to be another excitement and nerves, presumably. Can you just talk a little bit about what needs to be done to turn this into an NFL stadium? Yeah,
it's very much Thunderbird stuff, if I'm honest. The whole track that's around the pitch, so where you see the manager on a match day, he stands on the slope. That all lifts up to about 40 degrees. The flat area where the advertising boards are behind that, they all drop 4 foot. Then the flaps go down to miss the pitch. And then the pitch parts both ways. So the east and the west wing both open up 6 foot. And then that allows all 3 sections to slide out under the south stand. And the reason it has to split is the south stand is 17,500 single tier. And you cannot build a stand that big without having support columns. So there's 2 rows of support columns that are out underneath the stand. So you have to part the pitch both ways to miss them when it slides out. And again, it's what we talked about earlier, and technology, and most stadiums these days have the undersoil heating, have the irrigation, have the air system. So we have all that connected. So we have to disconnect all of that when we slide it out. And then when it slides out into the garage, it all reconnects at the other end of the pitch. So it's a bit like a life support system to the human body, but we reconnect it, disconnect, park it, reconnect.
It seems it will be a stupid question. I'm sure you'll tell me if it's a stupid question, but did they ever consider playing on grass?
It's down to sightlines, Scott. So we designed this very much with. So if you look at, and again, it's no disrespect to Wembley, but any of their international series games, the NFL, because they have so many team players and coaches on the bench, you can't see over the top. So you'll see tarpaulin around, say, the first 10 or 15 rows at Wembley or Twickenham or Mexico, where they play another one. Where here, because we're dropping down 6 foot and the pitch is that much narrower, the front row of our stands can still see over the top of the team benches. So the stadium was designed around no seat kill.
New stadium, new technology all in. That stretches down to machinery as well. I guess you've embraced all of that. So some of the machines you've got here would be state of the art, I would imagine, as the rain comes down.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we're fortunate when you're building a new stadium, you get that one chance to be the kid in the sweet shop, if you like, and trying to get what you want. In fairness to Wayne and Gary, who are my 2 head groundsmen here in the stadium, I wanted to rein them in a little bit, because it wasn't a bottomless pit of money by any stretch. But we did look very much at all the technical stuff that we wanted. So we've got the mix between electric, petrol mowers, the UVC.
Which mowers do you use? Do you go across the range, or specific brands or companies
so
you go with?
We're with two. So we're with ATT on electric, and with Dennis Premiers. And again, there's reasons why we would use both. Pretty much, I mean, the goodness of the environment's one thing, but the electric ones we'll use most of the week, and then probably just for the last cut, just to get that defining pattern, a little bit more weight in terms of the Dennis mowers for a finish. But then we've used SGL for the lights and the fans and the mists. So we had some days in the summer at 35 degrees, wall pitch temperature in here was at 42. So it was absolutely scorching. Yeah. So ryegrass does not like it that hot. So we were very very grateful to have that. But yeah, we've been lucky to be able to get the right toys.
Wonderful. I know you've got a very ambitious chairman who keeps an eye on everything, and you've got your fantastic new training facility, now the stadium. You were saying earlier, now that the stadium's in place, attention's going to turn back to the training ground as well now. So what plans have you got in store for there?
Well, I'm not sure really. We've taken on Tottenham Hotspur women this year professional. So we've always been associated with us, obviously Tottenham Hotspur Spurs ladies as they were known. So they've now come on board full time and professional. So at the moment, Enfield we've pretty much maxed out as far as the amount of teams and the usage. So we do own a bit of land around there, so I would guess that in the near future we'll be looking at what potential developments we can do to house them. So I guess we never really sit still. There'll always be something in the pipeline somewhere.